welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I'm going to show you some new drugstore foundations that are coming out for spring, hence why I have no foundation on my face. It's so crazy. I guess this is a good time to show you guys this video because my face is totally breaking out right now. It's so gross. I hate it. I can't believe it. I haven't had a breakout in a really, really long time of this kind of severity. But I guess this is a good time to do this for you guys so you can see how well these new foundations kind of cover your face and your blemishes and your dark circles. I don't have too many dark circles, so I guess it was a good thing my face broke out a little bit for you guys. So the first foundation that I want to share with you is new L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion Foundation. This is the most beautiful foundation packaging I have ever seen. I absolutely love rose gold. We're gonna try N4 today, but you open up the packaging and it has a pretty mirror in here, but then it has this cute little sponge that sits on top. I would not recommend using this sponge to apply it. I don't feel like this sponge would really help this kind of get into your skin. But as you can see, this is kind of basically a sponge where the foundation is in. It's soft to the touch. It comes off just like this. I'm just gonna use the Sigma tapered kabuki brush because I feel like that is a brush that most people have. You can use a sponge to apply this foundation, but remember that sponges always shear out foundation when you apply them. And it's better to dab your brush into the sponge instead of swirling your brush into the sponge. I'll just do half of my face so you can see the comparison. The half that has all the pimples. There's just a slight difference in the two. Like I said, this is more of a sheer coverage foundation, and as you can see, it does add a luminescence to my skin. So with that said, overall, in terms of long wearing throughout the day, if you have oily skin, which I do not recommend this foundation. This type of luminous foundation will just kind of enhance that process and will make your oils come out faster and in more frequency. So I definitely don't recommend this for oily skin, but if you have dry skin, this is an awesome product for you guys. It does add a beautiful glow and luminescence to your skin. It does a really good job of covering the blemishes that I had right here and a pretty good job of covering the blemish that I had on my forehead. So that is really surprising considering this is a fairly sheer foundation. I recommend this for more dry skin. So for the next foundation, I'm going to show you guys the new Maybelline Dream Velvet Soft Matte Foundation. I am totally in love with this Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse Foundation. I absolutely love this. I think this is so great if you have oily skin. It just goes on seamlessly, and I just really, really like this stuff. So I was excited when they came out with this one. I was confused on what color I would be, so thankfully they had one sample out, and I think it was actually this color. This is number 75 Natural Beige, and when I swatched this on my hand, it was the closest color that they had for me. The other ones that they had were way too light or way too dark. I'm just gonna put this on my face. Now this is a little bit more kind of a yellowish brown foundation color. And when I put it on my face, it does seem a little bit light. I'm only gonna do one swipe just so you can see how this really looks on my face. But again, you can see I still have the red patch on this side of my face, and it has kind of taken away that part of my face. It didn't do that great of a job of covering up this pimple or these. You can still see some redness around all of my blemishes. It didn't really do a great job of covering up my under eye circles. So now let's add a second coat, and I'm just using a little bit bigger than a pea size amount. I will say the feel on my face from this foundation is so nice. I do like the way it feels. It doesn't feel like I'm applying heavy foundation to my face. It blends in really well, which is nice too. There are no streaks on my face and I don't have to keep going and going and going. I'm just trying to cover up any spots that I may have missed the first time around. All right, so second application is a lot better. I feel like this does start off in the medium coverage level. It doesn't feel heavy on my skin. The second time around it did cover my blemishes, which is nice, and it did a nice job of covering my under eye circles. This does feel great. It's really good for oily skin. The times that I have used this, I think I used it twice, and I feel like it did a fairly good job of keeping my oiliness at bay. So I definitely recommend this if you have oily skin. And one thing I forgot to mention is that foundation does come with this Dream Blender foundation blending sponge, and I did mean to apply the foundation with this sponge, so I apologize for that, and I will do that right now just so you can see how this sponge works. It is a squishy sponge, so you can squish it all the way through, which is nice. It is a little bit dense, and it doesn't say that you have to wet the sponge in order for it to work. Use sides to blend in a circle on cheeks and outward on forehead, nose, and chin. Use the tip to blend around the nose, mouth, and under eyes. Okay, get this product on the side. I always like to dab a little bit, spread the product around my areas before I start blending it in. Okay, so they said in circles, which I actually find to be really weird. I'm so used to dabbing. But while I'm using this, the sponge is very hard. It's not soft like a beauty blender, and I don't think I like using this in circles, in circular motions on my face. I prefer the patting method, but I am going to admit it is super nice to get in to the crevices or small areas on your face, like underneath your eyes, around your nose, and around your mouth. So that part I do love with that tip. You can also use this to help define your brows, which is nice. But I definitely don't like the technique that they recommend. Swirling just seems really weird to me, and I don't feel like it's doing a really good job of blending it into my skin. So we're gonna scratch that and tap this into my skin. So my thoughts on this sponge are, I don't think it helps or improves the application of the foundation onto my face. The only thing I like this sponge for is getting in underneath your eyes and around your nose. Even though this is squishy, it is very hard, and this is something that I found happens with kind of quote-unquote knockoff beauty blender sponges or beauty sponges that you find at TJ Maxx or sometimes at Target or wherever. I definitely don't see a need to purchase this extra applicator if you want to use the foundation. So the next foundation that I found is this new Revlon ColorStay 2-in-1 foundation. So one is supposed to be the foundation and the little one is supposed to be the concealer. So that is really awesome. I love stuff like that. I picked up the color 200. So this is in nude. It's a hard foundation. It kind of looked like a little jelly for a second, but this is a hard liquid foundation, whatever you call that. A cream foundation, that's what you call it. So it does feel like a cream foundation. So since it seems like it's gonna be a little hard to get my kabuki brush in there, what I'm gonna do is just take a flat brush. This is the MAC 195 brush. I'm going to scoop out some of this foundation and just paint the areas on my face. So far this seems like a very, very, very creamy foundation and seems a little bit light for my face. All right, and then I'm gonna just blend this in with my kabuki brush, just so we keep things consistent and we can see how things go. but it does feel very smooth when I apply this into my face. It feels weightless. It doesn't feel like I'm applying anything to my face, which is really nice. This has pretty good coverage. It covered up that blemish pretty well. And it's doing a fairly good job of covering up the other blemishes that I have here. Let's add some to underneath my eyes. So wow, yeah, this does a really good job of first application coverage, I guess you can say. It covered up that redness that I normally have on my cheek. It did a pretty good job of covering up my under eye circles, or the little purpleness that I have underneath my eyes. It did a pretty good job of covering up my blemishes already with just a small amount of product, so that is awesome. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this concealer. It seems like the same color as the foundation, but this is doing a really good job. Wow. Awesome. I really like this foundation. It feels weightless on my face. It did a really good job coverage wise on that first application that we did. The concealer did a good job of covering the extra blemishes that I had. Now it doesn't say if this is a matte foundation or not. All it says is all day wear, flawless finish, sweat resistant foundation. So I feel like this foundation would be great for all skin types, even if you have dry skin or oily skin. I think this would be a great solution, and I love that it's a 2-in-1, so it's a good traveling foundation, or one that you can keep in your gym bag, or if in your travel makeup bag. This is a really great option. And the last foundation that I picked up, this is not new, but it is new to me, and I did already use this in a makeup tutorial, and I will link that above. I love watching Good Morning America. I don't know if you guys watch it, but I love watching it, and they sometimes have makeup segments, which in my opinion are a little wonky sometimes, because sometimes the quick makeup that they do, I'm like, really? That's not that great. But sometimes they will review some makeup products, and yes, I know that that segment of the show, it was a sponsored segment by CoverGirl, but I thought this was interesting that they develop this foundation so you can create the perfect selfie picture. As you know, I'm not a huge selfie person, just because I suck at doing them, so that's why I don't really post that many selfie pictures. But I thought this was really interesting for when you go out for events like New Year's or weddings or Valentine's Day, and you know you're going to be taking a lot of pictures, Disneyland even. You definitely want a foundation that is great for taking pictures. So I picked this up to try it out, and this is the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Luminous Foundation. And this says it's a natural glow foundation, and I picked up the color 842. Let's try this again with the flat top kabuki brush, and I'm just going to use one little pump. This is a lot better color than the other ones. So this does have more of a luminous finish, and when you look at the bottle, you can see some little flecks and sparkles in the foundation. Now, when I first tried this on, or even now when I put this on, I don't feel like I can count this as a luminous foundation. Now, there is a difference between the L'Oreal Lumi Cushion Foundation and this one. Like, when I put the Lumi Cushion Foundation on, you can totally tell right away it's a luminous foundation for some reason, but this one does a really good job of being good for neutral skin tones, oily skin tones, and dry, not skin tones, but skin instead. So I'm just going to put on a second coat because I don't feel like this did a good job of evenly covering my face. But it did an okay job of covering my blemishes. I have some right here, so the smaller ones it did okay with. It did okay with the one on my forehead, but not this one right here, which is a fairly new blemish on my skin. But it did a good job of covering the color underneath my eyes. It applied fairly evenly. I did have to use 2 pumps to get this type of coverage, but it did get rid of the redness around on my cheeks, so that is nice. One thing that I am noticing is as like I'm touching my face, it's a little sticky. Now, it's not crazy sticky, but I feel like that means the foundation is sitting on top of my skin, kind of creating that barrier. I don't think I like that. I like it when the foundations kind of blend into my skin and look a little bit more natural. It doesn't feel sticky if I'm not like touching my face. I'm just gonna try and apply a little bit of powder over it. This is the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous powder. Just gonna dab a little bit onto the surface and see if that removes any stickiness. It does, it's still a little sticky. That is just the weirdest thing. Overall, I do like this foundation. I think it's great for all day events. That is a good thing and a good foundation to try if you are looking for a new foundation. I finished off my face with that CoverGirl foundation. I definitely think powder is a must for this foundation. Alright everybody, so that's all the foundations I wanted to share with you. Thanks you guys so much for spending the time with me, and if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the new videos that I have and makeup tutorials that I have coming out. So thanks you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Don't forget to follow me.